September 25th, 2020. Our anniversary weekend. 18 years. Entering 19. The 29th, so. Let's see, it's 2:14 p.m. on Wednesday, September 30th, 2020. Trying to push through, but it's gonna send us home soon. It's getting choking. Runs right in. So it's 2:09 p.m. on October 3rd, 2020, Saturday. Huh? Videotape the date the president went into the hospital yesterday with mild symptoms. Okay, whatever. You don't go into the hospital for mild symptoms, but Trump does. So we'll see what happens. I don't have any opinions anymore. Otherwise, it's just to mark the date. So this has actually started laying still, which is happening more and more. Like, it's kind of my safety net just to lay still. I just want to get this taken care of. Do you have cereal? Yeah, I think so. No. I'm sorry. It's October 5th, 2020 at 6 p.m. Living this miserable life. 6 doctors and nothing's happening. 6 doctors working on me simultaneously and nothing's happening. It's bullshit. Miserable. This wasn't for this guy. And with COVID, people look at you like, you know, got something contagious. Oh my God. This is getting harder than it's been. Miserable. So it's October 9th, 2020 at 7:57 a.m. This started around 6 a.m. This episode. This is ridiculous. So I have 6 physicians currently working on this case 5 years into this condition. 6 doctors. I think 5 are gastroenterologists and 1 is a thoracic. They're all communicating together but can't figure it out. Go figure. Months ago, they talked about redoing some tests. I've yet to be scheduled for any tests. Can't go do it myself. So, requires the doctor's scheduling. So I have Monday's appointment, because I keep appointments to keep these guys on track. I go into my appointments. They make all these suggestions of what we want to do. A month that goes by to the next appointment, nothing's been done. Because there's nothing that can be done. Finally, I think a doctor finally realized that and wrote a note saying that this is without hope. This is a permanent condition, which is exactly true. I believe now, after 5 years in a support group where we had 106 members, patients, or caregivers speaking on behalf of their partner, husband, children who have this, and some less years than me, some more, and we're all suffering, severely suffering. Some get to very suicidal levels. That's where the support group comes in, where we kind of rein in everybody, try to keep everybody positive. Can be one of those people. I expressed my despair the other week or so, and they all came to my rescue, as I do them, because that's all we have. That's all we have. You know, if you get cancer, there's cancer institutes. You go, people are there that have had it, that have been through it. There's no Hiccup Institute. Doctors can't even direct you to a patient with this condition because they don't even know anybody. Not until I started a group. Until I started searching for people 3.5 years into this. Because nobody could introduce me to somebody so I could at least talk to somebody with this condition. I have to do it all myself. In this group, there's amazing people. Variety of people from all over the country. Nigeria, all other parts of the world. Who also can't find anybody. When they find this group, they're so relieved in a lot of ways, just to know that they're not alone, that this is not, that this is really happening to them, and that we all can share our therapies and things that we try, because it may not work for me, but it might work for somebody else, whatever I'm doing. So everybody's different, but without this group, we'd all be suffering on our own. There's nowhere to go. Therapists are ridiculous. They don't understand what we're going through. They don't know. There's no studies on it, so I don't really trust therapists anyway. I think they're quacks. Got issues in themselves. I've dated therapists. The worst experiences. I have to say there are good therapists. I'm sure that have done some good for people. I'm sure. It's just not for me. For this condition, and particular. Oh, we do our own therapy because we know what we're dealing with. We know what we're experiencing. We know what we're going through. So we can talk to each other and help each other through. This is a burden on the people around us. It's very isolating with COVID out now this year. You do this in public, people look at you and move away from you as if you're contagious with that virus. Because we breathe breathing spasms, choking spasms, hiccups, burps. Sometimes it's noisy, sometimes it's not. I can control it. To a degree, it hurts more when I keep it in. See, watch. So I can go in public and try to be as quiet as I can. But it's not always the case when I have to speak. It's actually worse when I speak. So we're on our own. Navigating a condition that's not even on doctor's radar. I mean, who wants to live like this, you know? I've lost 2 careers over it. One I had nurtured, gone in and out of since 1980 for the entertainment business. I can't be on a set like this. The other, since 2009, 2010, working in surgery. That's where I was working. But I had a surgery, colorectal surgery, came out of it with a lot of issues, and this is being one of many, where I was paralyzed in certain parts of my body. Literally. My pudendal nerve, they injected it. It's in the notes. For 3.5 minutes, and that particular nerve is severely damaged. That controls the down areas of your body. You know, the parts that you... It's just so depressing. It's hard to even talk about. It's so personal area. Such a personal area. You know? And then these. Originally, doctors just wanted to blame the anesthesiologist, the surgeon, who was late to her surgery. She's late to every appointment. Like, not just late. We're talking like an hour and a half to your scheduled appointment. She strolls in. When I went into that surgery, she was nowhere to be found when they were prepping me to go in. I came into the room. They were prepping on the table, frantic, because they still couldn't find the surgeon, because she was late to everything. Ann Lynn, UCLA, don't suggest seeing her. Colorectal surgeon, more like body mutilation physician. She wanted nothing to do with the hiccups when I saw her. She didn't want to talk about them. She'd pass it off to anesthesiology. She wanted no responsibility, but the lower region, where I was damaged, she insisted that it was just fissures in my rectum that was... And the other issues, there's no way that she could be responsible for. It's just typical. And then when I went to see her, the schedules were so long out that they pushed me over a year to see her. And then when Diana came in, she's like, "Gosh, I haven't seen you in a year. Why haven't you seen me earlier?" And I didn't, for some, didn't come to my head at that moment to say I tried. But your schedule was carefully crafted to keep me over a year, so she couldn't personally be responsible in a legal matter. So, the games they play. And the hospital itself seems to think everything was fine, that this is my issue that needs to be resolved through my primary care physician. So, word of caution, surgeons can destroy you, your body, your nerves, and I mean never respond for it. So, as I say, my other careers in surgery, I worked 10 months into this condition, and it was very, very, very difficult. I was dying. They could see it, and to the point that the charge nurse followed me around because she had gotten a lot of concern complaints. And she followed me around, finally approached me and said, "We need to get you this resolved, and we want you here. Can't do without you, but we need to get this resolved." And I think that they knew this was going to be a difficult challenge, but that my condition presents a liability to any employer because it goes into choking spasms. The more I exert energy, I mean, this is me laying still. If I get up and walk around, it's more aggressive, goes into choking spasms. So how are you supposed to talk on the phone or move anything? I mean, bending over is the culprit of all. I can't even tie my shoes. I have to bring them up on the bed. Everything has to be catered, you know. I have to find ways to do what was done, what you take for granted. I have to find ways to do now to accommodate. It's a whole new world. This disability. You try to live the best quality you can. Because one doctor, Erratic, who's one of the doctors, the sixth doctor, his diagnosis 2 years ago was that this condition, it's a life expectancy of 3 years. At that point, I was already into my fourth or past 3 years. So I was already surviving what he determined to be the life expectancy. I'm not sure where he got that information, but it's written in my medical notes. So if you survive life expectancy, I understand, because it's hard on every organ. It's hard on my esophagus in particular. Acids come up, causing perhaps all kinds of cancers, I'm sure. My shoulders are just a mess. They're so sore. Just everything. The pressure in your chest. It's just too much. Too much to bear, really. Every day you're just wondering how you're going to get through it. I have an amazing partner. I think without him and his care, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't even want to be here under this. This is not quality living. This is, there's nothing fun about it at all. Now we're like within less than a month to a new election. The stress of current administration and how they're handling COVID, which I'm extremely susceptible to, having this as a pre-existing condition, which is your esophagus and your stomach, your lungs. So movie theaters are closed. That was my therapy. They took me out of my head for 2 hours. A beautiful way to do it. Not expensive. Especially when you get AMC has a special, so if you get part of their premiere group, it's like 12 movies a week, I think. That's what it was. For $21 a month or something. $28 or something. Under $30 for 12. Or no, I forget how many movies it was a week. Not 12 a week, I think 12 a month. Which gives you 3 or 4 a week or whatever it is. It's a good deal because they're like $18 a pop. So 2 movies, you're already in the hole if you just paid regular. So it's like that was the greatest therapy. You know, just the whole ritual of, and it's part of my industry. It's what I do. It's trading. It's been taken this year away, and they keep teasing that they're going to open the theaters to have capacity, but it hasn't happened yet. And we advanced from our skateboards. We live in the beach. Getting around is difficult with this, and we have skateboards, but I couldn't even do that. It takes energy, and I don't have it. So we got electric boards. That's transportation, so they don't drive as much. And that has changed our world, so that offered quality where I can just stand there and hold a control in my hand and go distances I could never do on a regular board, which we do over the weekends. Because my responsibility is to make sure my partner's, he works 4 hours more a day in overtime just to accommodate the losses that we have in surgery. I don't know if you ever worked in a hospital before. Sorry, women, but they're predominantly run and staffed by females. And although they're excellent with patients, they are extremely stressful and create an environment that's miserable to be in. The moods. It's like walking on eggshells when you go to work there. So he's working 4 hours over his regular schedule just to accommodate us, and it's hard on him. It's just hard. He hates going there. It's just they make it miserable to want to go. They're constantly setting you up for failure. It's terrible. The stress is that just to show up for work. It's miserable. Every time I drop him off, he says, I don't want to go in. I felt the same way. I hated being there. I love my job. I just hated being there. Under that setup. So, lost two careers and a substantial income. And a 401k that's I had to sell. I had to cash out my 401k just to pay medical bills. Because it's expensive. I have worked so hard. I get passed around from doctor to doctor, from doctor to doctor, like a little rag doll for 5 years. I've seen a lot of specialists, and their hourly rates are between $200 and $800 an hour, depending on who it is, how much they think they're worth. Early on, it was a neurologist. She was $800 an hour. I get these bills. I see what they charge. Most of them are $300 or $400 an hour. And as you can see, I've gotten not a lot in return for a lot of money. It doesn't matter. I have a PPO through my partner at work, but he's still responsible for a percentage. Now I got SSDI to approve me this past January of 2020. After 2 years of, or 3 years of waiting and trying to get their attention, I finally had a hearing this last January, and I am the first that I know of to ever be approved for a disability under this condition. So we're not only navigating a rare condition, we're pioneering something here. And that this makes it even harder. I'm educating them. It shouldn't be that. It should be educating me. So that gives me Medicare, I think, which helps to offset, because one of the doctors I see is through Cedars-Sinai, and I learned quickly after seeing him, and he was very expensive. He's one of the doctors now. He's my primary in this for this condition right now. And I got a letter from my PPO saying that we can only cover 50% because he's not in our network. It's like, great. That was before I got approved for SSDI. Now that I got approved Medicare, of course, Cedars-Sinai takes that, so I'll set it so the $200 or $300 that I have to pay on top of the other fee, on top of his fee, my part was like half, so $200 or $300 a visit is now into the double digits because of Medicare. So it seems to have made a difference a bit, but I still owe. Every time I see a doctor, I still owe something, and it adds up. And when you're on a disability income, you're limited, so the pressure's on for my partner to carry the weight. That's not right. So I don't know. It's kind of ranting here. I don't think people really realize that hiccups could be a debilitating condition. It's a serious condition. I mean, this goes on all night, all day. I mean, you can count how many seconds in between. This is laid down. Now, if I start a movie, it'll pick up, so you get less time. You know. Thanks for listening. Yep.